G'day all, it's Colin from PCTLC and thanks for joining me. First of all, just happened to be a car coming past when I started talking, that's always the way. So we are looking at Elementary OS 5 Juno. Now, straight off the bat, I think it's got transparency along the top here, and seen that in a couple of videos and it looks good, looks really good. I haven't tried changing desktop yet, and there's no right click on the desktop, so we'd probably have to go into settings for that, and we'd go into desktop here and probably change maybe to a lighter one if we can, see what happens there. Yep, that looks good. Darker one. And yeah, it's all changed colour. Nice. Let's try black. Pretty good. So let's go back to this one here. So that all looks good. So off the bat, I can say that this distro here is looking pretty clean. These icons here look very crisp and sharp, so they look really good, I have to say. So I don't really get too excited about Elementary these days because I think they've just, for me personally, locked it down a bit for the things I used to like to do, but that's probably why I don't use it, and that's the choice I make. But it is a nice desktop. So you've got the choice here of these ones here. You've got category listing here, or you can choose to use icons, icon view instead. So yeah, those icons look really nice. So let's go back to here and go to files. Now, one thing with files is it opens up in the last location that you were in. So I don't know if you can actually change that because it doesn't seem to be any gear cog, little cog on here or settings. There's nothing on here at all. So you can right click and you can change these colors as well. But you get a red in where the font is, but you don't get a red folder. So I don't know if that's just I'm not sure if that's just an interim thing that they're doing until they get the whole lot worked out as far as changing the actual icon itself. I'm not sure, but it's a bit strange that it doesn't do that. So there we go. So if you want to change it back to original, just press the X and it goes back to original. So that's a handy little feature, and maybe that's the way it's been designed, I'm not sure. Normally on most occasions, I think in Linux Mint the actual icon changes colour. So another little feature is you have a look down in the right hand bottom corner, you've got, it tells you documents, folder, one file, 540 bytes. That's a nice little touch. So it's a nice little black box with a nice little white font in it. Tells you the contents of the folder and what's in it and how much. That's a nice little touch, that. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. If I leave it on home and then I open it up again, it'll be in home. So there we go. But if I open in documents and I close that and then I open it again, and I might actually just add that to the dock, save me coming back in the menu. Open that up again, it'll be in documents. So I've written down, I've just named it issues, but it's not a big deal. It's not real issues, just things I've noticed. File preferences. There is no files preferences that I can find. We can have a look in settings, but I cannot find any. So that's, I'm not sure whether it's got all the that's what you get out of the box. You can change your view to that one and that one. But that's about all the settings I can find. You got show hidden files on right click. You've got compress. You've also got extract in here as well by default. But not all extracts or not all archives are in there. Now, the Firefox and Thunderbird icons in the App Center. Now let's have a look at the App Center. Now, one thing I'd like to mention is out of the box, simple screen recorder, no more PPA. It's in the App Center, out of the box, great to see. So don't have to mess around with PPAs. That's good. I've enjoyed that, that's for sure. And I don't know why I close that, which I do those things sometimes. Now, if we have a look at Firefox, they don't have a proper icon, Firefox and Thunderbird. So there's Thunderbird there, no icon for Thunderbird. Now, I don't know why that is. I mean, they're free open source programs, and I think they like to use most of the free open source stuff, which is why it's designed the way it is. So I don't know why. I don't know if the icon actually is proper when it's installed, but I don't know why it's not a decent icon in here. Maybe they're trying to stop people, or they're trying to influence people to use the default apps out of the box, which is Epiphany and I think, what's this mail program here? I think it's Elementary Mail, I think. I'm not really sure what it is, actually. So let's have a look in the App Center at Mail. Let's have a quick look here. Installed. Mail. Elementary. Elementary LLC. Mail. So it's just called Mail. I don't know whether it's forked from something else. I'm not really sure. Somebody might be able to let me know. So it looks to me like they're trying to influence people to stay on the default apps in Elementary and not use Firefox or Thunderbird. I'd have to assume that once you install them. Now, curiosity's got the better of me here, so I'm going to install one of them. Firefox would be probably the best one to do. Let's install that. So let's drop that down. So there is no minimize, maximize at the moment. Now in code, if I open up code, which is their text editor, and it's very good for coders as well, so I think that's why they've called it code. Now I was typing and stuff, and I thought, I'm not quite sure if I make an error, how do I undo it? So if you right click anywhere in code, you can just click undo and that's done, and it actually changes as you go. So yeah, always check the right click wherever you are, because it can have some pretty good features in right click. You can insert emoji in here as well by the looks. Oh yeah, there we go, look at that. Let's just undo that anyway. Okay. So that's another thing, right click there. Now online accounts. Online accounts is a bit disappointing, I would have to think. Now I would have thought Elementary is aimed at people who are into their social media. Now I don't know if there's a plugin for this, but I couldn't find one. If it's eluded me and it's there somewhere, I couldn't find it. But that's pretty sparse and lacking big time in the plugins area. Now the only thing I did find is it looks to me like they've been working on this for a while. So it's not as if they've not been working on it. I did see I think it's a Reddit post, or it could have been one of the, I can't remember where I was, but if we actually have a look for elementary online accounts, go to Google. Let's have a quick look. I think I did a search for elementary online accounts. Switchboard online accounts, GitHub, that's probably where I've seen it. Switchboard online accounts. Now, there was a website I've seen that they've been working on this for quite a while. So now there's your little. Now I like that little ding there. It's not annoying in any way, but just lets you know that something has successfully installed there. So that's a nice little notification ding. Now I may have to restart because it looks to me like Firefox still doesn't have an icon. Interesting. So we talk about these nice little touches here and crisp and clear, and yet Firefox doesn't have an icon. I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and I'll probably restart the computer to see whether that does come up or not. Actually, what I'll do, I'm going to stop the recording. I'm going to restart. Okay, so I have restarted the system and Firefox icon is all good, so that's good to see. I'm happy with that. Now the other thing I've noticed is I'm running Simple Screen Recorder here, and there is no Simple Screen Recorder app indicator anywhere. So we have a really nice design, but we don't have those little tiny features that would be nice to have. You get them in Ubuntu, which is running the GNOME desktop. So I would have thought that elementary would have those little things in here by now, but obviously they may be still working on it. Now the Windows super key, if we press that, we get keyboard shortcuts. Now somebody in the elementary design team has a great respect for Mac OS, obviously, because they're using the super key or the Windows key or the meta key, whichever one you want to call it, and they're using the command symbol from Mac OS. So, and that's good because someone obviously has respect for the Mac interface. Maybe they don't like the Mac way or the way Mac does things, but I like Windows, so I like to make things look a little bit like Windows. I'm starting to get away from that now because themes are changing in Linux at the moment. So, but it's okay to, I suppose, look up to something and have a plan for that, and implement something that you really do look up to and be proud of. So that's okay. Now this Windows button super key gives you all the shortcuts here. Now if you want to use the super key for opening the menu here, we go to the keyboard, and the super key behavior is at the moment set to shortcut overlay. We can go to applications menu, and that will now bring that up. I don't know if the other one disappeared. Yes, it did. So let's change it back. So there we go. Depends which one you want. If you're not fussed about going up here, or you've got your shortcuts down here already, then you can probably keep it. I would probably keep this on if I was to use elementary for a while. That way I can sort of just quickly bring that up until I get used to these. Then I can change it to the applications menu. and that way you got a quick shortcut for that. I can see that really coming in handy there, I must say. I don't know what happened there. Anyway, so yeah, you got a calendar there. The number's not too outstanding though, I must say. Be nice if it had that round thing there all the time, but yeah, okay. All right, so not too many applications in here at all to see. Terminal. Now the terminal's got a nice little feature, and I'm going to be using this because I will be making a video about things to do after installing elementary. I've done that on Loki. I want to do that for Juno as well, and a few things have changed because there was a terminal command to change the super key for the applications. Now that's become a lot easier, so that's a welcome change. That's really good. So what I like about this, first of all, is you've got these different themes settings here, which is nice. And then you've got this one here, which can increase your font. That is always very welcome. That especially for myself when I'm making videos, I'm sure some people can't see what I'm typing. And always probably I get a little bit too much into the video and I forget. I have to go messing around trying to find it and tripping over my own feet looking for, you know, how to blow this up. But that one there is very easy, and I like that. That's really nice touch. So you've got the plank down the bottom here. Now if we push down the control key and right click anywhere, you'll get preferences for plank, and you can change the appearance, the behavior. Now the appearance I would probably like to put on transparent, and before I do that, the reason I want to do that is because the indicators that elementary is using are not really outstanding. I can't see them. Now maybe you can, maybe your eyes are better than mine, but I really cannot see those indicators. I can now. It'd be really nice if we had a way of making them a bit more bold, because it's very hard to see. Now the other thing here is you've got docklets. Now these docklets you can put in here to show desktop. So if we open files, and we've got settings open already, and all those sorts of things. So if we show desktop, there we go. Oh, except for this one. You've got applications. I haven't tried that one, I must admit. What does that do? Oh, right click, and you've got a menu there with a category list. Now that opens up not with a left click, with a right click. So that's handy anyway, I must say. And if you don't want it there, take it out. Poof, gone. Or I should say poof. So that's your little docklets there. Got a trash can, you got Clippy, which is your clipboard. So yes, you got all those things there, and you can probably adjust those, no problem. Got the behavior, window dodge, hide delay. So if you got your files there and you bring it down and you hide delay, it's not that quick. So if you drop that down, and that'll drop down a lot quicker, which is good. You can also, what other behaviors you got? Window dodge, maximize window, auto hide, intelli hide. So they're all good settings there. Pressure reveal and lock icons and so forth. And appearance, you can choose to put that to the left if you want. Now we're getting more like a gnomish Unity style desktop there, if we do that. And that's probably not bad there. You can probably see the indicators a little bit better on the side. And on a laptop, which this is on, it probably suits more on a laptop on the side because it gives you more screen real estate anyway. So I might just leave that there for now. So that's the little things I've noticed with elementary at the moment. I have to say it runs pretty quick, so there's no problem there. If I put in a USB, now with a USB, I've noticed that if you put it in, it doesn't actually inform you that a USB has been plugged in. So it's there, you just got to open your files and there it is there. So it doesn't auto mount. That's what it doesn't do. So now the other thing is, if I wanted to install Zoom, now I do download Zoom and I keep it on my USB stick, and there's zoom.deb. If I copy that to say downloads, paste it in there, and we click that, there is no application to install Zoom. So I do rely on Zoom when I'm chatting on BigDaddyLinux Live, so we would have to install GDebi to do that, which doesn't come by default. We can have a look in the App Center, but that will be part of my things to do after installing elementary. There's GDebi package installer, so it is there in the App Center. Telegram is another one I tend to use, mostly on the phone, but yep, we got Telegram in here, which is good. KDN Live is also one of my favorites, and GIMP as well. I don't know what GIMP is that. I'm hoping it's the latest one. 2.8. I was hoping it was the new one. What's the new one? 2.10 is it, I think? So that's a shame that it's not 2.10. So we could probably install Etcher, but I think they do have their own, I think it was in the App Center, USB image burner, Etcher's. It's inspired by Etcher's UI, so that costs $1. So, and that's another thing, by the way. So this is supporting the developer of these little programs here. So Spice Up creates simple and beautiful presentations, $20. Wow, that must be pretty good program for $20, I must say. What have we got there? Okay, I'm not sure if that's worth it, but must be a pretty good program. I don't really know much about the presentation there, but you do have in LibreOffice, you've got presentation in that. So whether it's any better than that, I don't know. You've got a simple device formatter, so it's $1. So yeah, you've got a few things there. So I mean, if I was to install a program, I'd like to try it out, and I'd probably put that on 0 and install it at no cost. And if I like it and I think it's worth it, I would definitely go back and give them the money without a doubt. So, and then you've got all your other categories here in the App Center. So the App Center is looking really good, and you've got Office in there, and you probably got LibreOffice as well somewhere in here, I would say. There's LibreOffice there. So LibreOffice Impress, that's what it's called, yeah. So that is the elementary App Center. Now, I believe that now the problem with this thing is there's not many areas to grab this window, so that can become quite annoying at times. But the UI across the board is very consistent, I have to say. So all looks good. but we still need a tweak tool. It'd be nice to have a tweak tool, so I have to see if the tweak tool is still available. It is there, I know it's there, and I'm pretty sure you can install it using the same PPA as Loki. So that should be all good. That'll be in my next video as well. Now we've got the About. So that shows you the information on the operating system and also the computer itself. So that's a nice little touch there. Check for updates, report a problem, suggest translations, restore default settings. Security and privacy. You can do not collect data from the following, so you can add applications if you don't want data collected from any of these applications. Now, this operating system can gather useful statistics about file and app usage to provide extra functionality. If other people can see or access your account, you may wish to limit which items are recorded, and you can add them to this box here, and nothing will be collected. Or you can switch these off too, I'm assuming. You've got your locking settings there, the firewall, just unlock that and turn it on. Housekeeping, automatically delete old temporary files, delete old trash files. And you've got location services, so allow apps below to determine your location. So there are no apps using the location here at the moment. So I believe that if any apps are being used for location, they should, when apps are installed that use location services, they will automatically appear here. Okay, so you don't have to add them. So desktop settings again, you got the dock settings, this dock here, you got some simple settings here. You got your hot corners, and you got plenty of options there for your hot corners. So you got your multitasking view. Now you got multitasking view, which gives you extra windows or workspaces, sorry, and also the fact that you can move things around to different workspaces. Now the difference between that and show all windows is the fact that show all windows just shows you windows, you got no other options down here. So that's the difference between the two. So if we go back to multitasking view, we bring that back here, and that's the difference between those two there. So multitasking view is the same as this one here in the dock. Now this here has preferences in the code. This is the text editor code that has preferences. Behavior, interface, extensions. Applications, you got your startup, launch apps on startup from here. You can add your apps there. Scroll down, you can add whatever you want for startup. And your default apps here. So you could choose Firefox if you want Firefox as your default. Now printers is another one. Yep, I almost forgot printers. Now this printer is in here. I didn't put it there. It was already there. So that's great. So I think maybe we just have to switch that on. Page settings, settings and supplies. So it's saying it's disabled. I don't know what's going on there. Use as default printer, there we go. So I couldn't even get a printer working on Loki, so this is a really nice touch that they got the printers in there, and the fact that I didn't even have to search for it was even better. Now if we go back to code, calendar, I've got the calendar there, so there's your calendar, and we've got events or something here. birthday, anniversary, add new calendar. Yep, okay, what's this one? Export calendar, yeah, alright, so that's all good. This one here, allow calendar to access this device's location. So let's allow that and see what happens. So in the locations now we should have, where was locations? Security and privacy, wasn't it? There we go. So calendar's there. You got parental control, so you can configure user accounts with that. Universal access, display, animations, clicking, pointing, keyboard, just your very simple settings there, audio, and user accounts. Can unlock from here and put in your password. You can change your password. Language and region. Yep. Mouse and touchpad. Oh gee, I don't know what that was on. Hardware default probably. That's another thing when you go into it. Something and you scroll down and you end up on one of these and it starts scrolling the setting. Yeah, you got to remember to move your mouse somewhere else. Sharing, media library. So that is very much elementary. Now, the one thing I've noticed was I tried to use Kazam and full screen, screencast and capture. And as soon as I do that, this thing just shuts down. It doesn't do anything. There you go. I was talking into the mic for about 5 minutes and suddenly come across the fact that there was no icon there. And I realized that I hadn't recorded anything. Now, what I was doing is I was recording myself with the excitement of installing Simple Screen Recorder directly from the App Center. So that didn't really turn out too well. So I don't know what's wrong with Kazam. It used to work. It's definitely not working in this one. Don't know why. Maybe I need to install some codecs or something. I'll have to go through that. So I might try that on my next video, see if that works. So you've got a category listing here and icons there. I think we looked at that before. So then you've got all of these here. You can see how crisp and clean this all looks. The icons look very consistent on the top there. Very nice. And you can see they've put a lot of work into the detail and definitely a lot of work in. There's got to be a lot of work they've done that you can't see. And this looks pretty much similar to what it did in Loki. You can just see some very, very subtle differences, and I'd have to assume there's a lot of work in all that. These things don't look that good on their own. And then you got photos. Now that is a dark app, so that must be a dark app on by default. If we've got preferences, we've got a dark mode or not? No, that's just the way the app comes. Okay, so that's the photo app. And you got the music app as well. Okay, I've got no music on here anyway, and you got the video app as well. I've tried that already, it works well. Oh, that's a dark app as well. See, what happens is sometimes I'll open a video, I won't open the application itself. I normally just open applications with the file that I'm working with, and I don't notice that it's a dark theme. So I tend to not notice these things. I'm pretty bad that way. So you've got notification settings directly into their settings there. Bubble sounds, do not disturb. So if you don't like the notifications, you can put on the do not disturb there. Displays. Night light is another one that comes by default. Sunset to sunrise, and obviously it'll pick up your location and will know. So it's got a setting there for you. So that's a nice little touch. You can turn that on. Now you probably won't see it, but the screen's gone very red. So it's got rid of that blue light, and that works really nice. So I don't think it shows up in recording. And then you got your power settings. Okay. So yeah, I'm a bit disappointed there's no app indicators. And definitely the other disappointing bit is the online accounts, because I think you've got Ubuntu and GNOME and Linux Mint and all that. A lot of operating systems that I'm using nowadays have a lot of options. I don't even know what this one is, last.fm and fast mail and email. It doesn't even have all your standard Telegram or Facebook or Yahoo and all that. Not that I use Yahoo, or I don't really hook up Facebook, but I can imagine a lot of other people do. So yeah, it'd be nice to have those. So whether they're working on that or there is a plugin, please let me know. I'll highlight that and I'll show how to install it as well. At this point in time, I don't know. So just before I go, one thing I will be doing is I will be installing KDNLive in Elementary, and I will be making this video with KDNLive in Elementary, and I will see how that all works together and the workflow and everything, and make sure that it works okay and stands up to the test. So that I'll definitely be doing. So hopefully everything goes well with KDNLive and the video editing process for this video. So that is a look around Elementary OS 5 Juno. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks for watching.